Morning all. Another lovely day in Devon. It is about 7 o'clock on Monday the 10th of May. And that was a fantastic spot. Not that I did anything here, of course, but everything I could have asked for. A bit noisy with the sea, but you get used to that. Well, no, you don't really, I'm lying. I don't really sleep well in tents anyway, but I slept well enough, so I can carry on. I mean, partly it's getting a night's rest, but also partly it's just waiting until it's light again so you can carry on hiking. So today we're heading, well, up there to Dartmouth, about a mile away. Going to get the ferry across, first ferry of the day I expect now, since I decided to just fall short today instead of push on to the far side. And it's all round that coast up there to around the end, and then round the headland and on to Brixham. I can't be bothered to get the map out. I'm all bagged up now. So that's going to be about 10, 11 miles today. But I've got a full day to do it now, because I started at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, and I just get 10 miles in, so I expect to get 15 or so, 15, 16, something like that. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah. And then I'll have to find somewhere to camp just outside Brixham, either side, probably the other side, the far side of Brixham, hopefully. And then things are going to get a bit tricky, I think, because I've looked at the map, and I think from a bit further around past Brixham we get to Paynton, and then from Paynton pretty much all the way around to the X, really. It's almost wall-to-wall seaside towns like Torquay and Dartmouth and so on, so I'm expecting a lot of seafront promenade and not a lot of places I can get a crafty kip. But we'll see, I mean, you know, Providence usually provides. There's always something I can use, generally. But we'll see, anyway. Yeah, today's going to be a bit of a day with the weather. I think it's going to be 50% chance of scattered showers throughout most of the morning. But the weather says it's going to be 47 mile an hour winds through much of the day till about 6 p.m. So, I mean, that's great. It means it's going to slack off before I try and put the tent up, which is all right, and it's going to be all right tonight. But during the day, I'm probably going up onto the top of that over there. Can't see it through the trees, but so yeah, it could be quite a challenging hike today. A lot of screaming into the wind, I expect, but we'll see. I mean, it's absolutely dead still calm down here. You can just about see a little bit of flutter in some of those leaves there, but that's because we're at an inlet massively blocked out from the oncoming wind, which should be up over the tops of those trees on that ridge. So I don't know, you know, standing here now, it's hard to believe today's going to be nearly 50 mile an hour gusts, but these things are changeable, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to get up and get on, crack on in the morning. Yeah, excuse the hairband and ponytail, it's not a sort of 80s yuppie affectation, it's that I found that I kept getting my hair caught in the zips of the tent as I was packing up, so that might come back out again later. Oh. Right, off we go. This is Dartmouth Castle. Big old ruined walls there. Not sure what time period it dates from, but I imagine this is a strategic point on a defensible inlet. Church down there. Oh, big grey clouds. Another little folly thing. This one looks more recent, or at least more recently maintained. Cafe. This must be a more modern kind of defence. It's still cannons rather than, you know, anti-air installations. I'm starting to feel that wind a bit now. I'm coming out of the shadow there, yeah. Alright, upstream we go. Try and find the ferry. There we go, Dartmouth. Picturesque. There's a ferry between Dartmouth Castle and the main town. Not sure I'm allowed to take it then. Anyway, it's not for another 3.5 hours. So fascinated by this place. Try and get a zoom on that. I mean, look at that. That's just a Gothic folly of all sorts of stuff going on there. Look at it. Little medieval cottages, walls, bridge thing. Oh, that's down on the bottom there. Is that a patio? Yeah. Cool. Very changeable weather, so here's a quick another bit while we can. So that's Bayard's Fort, Bayard's Cove Fort. There you go. 16th century fort. There you go. Push pause if you want to read that. Iron chain across the harbour. Yeah. There's the entrance to the harbour again. There's King's Weir over there. Oh, look how lovely that is. All these little pastel houses all clustered up the side of the hill. It's fairy tale. I think I saw the world's smallest car ferry going across there. It had 2 cars on it, I think. Not sure if it's on its way back now or gone back. I don't know. I'm not sure what I was looking at. But yeah, one of these down there is going to be the ferry I need. Maybe. Oh, it says ferry. That's probably it. I've missed it. Sorry, I'll be back and forwards. I could do with a sit down. And up there, I think, is the Naval College, Royal Naval Training College at Dartmouth. Large institutional stroke military building, certainly. Could be a prison. Don't know. Anyway, I need to get down there before it starts raining again. On and off today, I think. So we're up at King's Weir and along the north coast of the Dart estuary, facing south into the wind, and the rain's hit and miss. Just been following this lovely little private road that provides access to all these super posh estates along here, and not a small amount of run-down, scaffolded, boarded off places that seem to have featured badly in the. Which is what happens when you build your home on a cliffside, I suppose. Eventually, it'll fall in the sea. So anyway, now it wants me to go down here. So what are we, 3/4 of a mile out of King's Weir? King's Weir side off the ferry. I should have taken some pictures, sorry, but it had a little steam train station there as well, and a vehicle car ferry, tiny one. I was right. I think that goes off to Paynton, that steam train, which we'll be going to eventually along here. But yeah, no trains, far too early. What is it? It's 8:23 at the moment on Monday, something 9 May, whatever. And so I've got about 9¼ miles to go to get to Brixham, and then I'd like to get a little bit beyond. So that's not unreasonable in, you know, what for blah blah blah, at least 12 hours of daylight. So yeah, I think I could probably manage that. That's fine. I'm not going to push too hard, he says, this week. But yeah, I would quite like to do it in 5 instead of 6. But it doesn't matter too much. Warren Woods. This section of the South Devon Coast Path is dedicated to the memory of Lieutenant Colonel Herbert Jones, VC OBE, and was opened in June 1984. Warren Estate is private property. Please keep to the coast path. Yeah, my original plan was to try and find somewhere to camp around here, but it's it's been a bit difficult. There's not many large flat spaces that aren't someone's garden along this bit. So, and yeah, it was a bit further than I was expecting along there. So no, I've done all right. I think that was a good call with last night's arrangements. So down here then. Yeah, it's interesting, the South West Coast Path, it seems like it's been here for like eternity, you know, since Neolithic times or whatever, but it's only really existed as a single walkable entity since the sort of late 90s. I guess recreational hiking wasn't really a thing in general up to then, but I mean, obviously there's been little paths along the cliffs from fishing village to fishing village for quite some time, but the idea of the South West Coast Path as a single 640 mile thing, it's only a couple of decades old. So yeah. Alright, here's some acorns. Obey the acorn. Oh, good. Another hill closer to home. Doesn't look steep from here, but you should have seen the steps just around there. Oh, God. A fantastic landscape, though. It's obviously very sheltered normally because there's quite a growth of forest here, although not that sheltered. Because you're looking, you see all around huge, large amounts of big big trunks fallen over. I guess they can only really support a certain size before the wind gets to them. And on this here, a lot of ivy growing over everything. Bluebells, it's nice. Sylvian verdure. Private, yeah. Fire break thing. Flap paddles for beating out flames. I think if it's gotten to that point, you probably ought to just run away. But I can see some circumstances where these paddles might be useful. Bashing out small flames that are about to move and jump. I don't know. A day like today, I can't imagine anything burning around here. But I suppose in the heat of summer. Yeah, wind's picking up now. So basically, we're on the point of the estuary on the north coast that sticks out beyond the end of the estuary on the south coast, so we're facing straight out into sea through there now. So the wind's much stronger, more consistently blowy, and as we head that way we'll probably get more of it, particularly once we're out of these trees as well. So I think the next 2 or 3 miles until I swing around to the north and start getting a bit more shelter behind me again, it's going to be quite a challenge, so we'll see. But yeah, keep pressing on. It's just trouble. I don't know whether to have the coat on, coat off, waterproof thing on and off. Mind you, there's no real benefit to taking that off, really, apart from visibility at long distances. But yeah, obviously, if I'm not wearing the coat, I cool down better. But then if there's a strong wind blowing, I cool down too quickly. So it's going to be an exercise in finding the right amount of layers and coverings for this next bit, I think. How hard I'm working versus how strong the wind's blowing. It's not cold, it's probably 12 degrees, 10 to 12 degrees, but the wind does carry the heat away from you regardless of temperature, so just keep an eye on it. Alright, let's press on. Look, it's the sun. These lovely bluebells. The go away, we don't want you here sign. See a lot of those. I try not to take them personally. There are wrong uns out here on the paths, littering everywhere, and out of control dogs and screaming children, graffitiing stuff and whatnot. I'm not one of them. It's very fresh wind, that's what I'm calling it. Fresh. I think I might keep my anorak on just as a bit of a wind protector now, rather than rain. It does seem like the rain might be done for the day though, I don't know. I haven't felt any since in the last sort of half hour or so. Don't know. Hard to take anything for granted on this trip. So I think we're off up there somewhere. In this wonderful wooded wonderland. It's lovely. Really nice. Wow, I'll take it back about the fires. Just entered this section of woods here, and pretty much all the large trees have got black scorched trunks. And there's been a lot of, I guess that's, looking at the undergrowth and the amount of leaf and pine needle droppings everywhere, I guess that's about 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, the undergrowth's come back and the surrounding trees are green, but yeah, some of the scorched ones are okay, got leaves, got needles on, but some of them are just totally gone. Just dead trees waiting to fall over. See a big one at the back there. Gutted. And it's all across this slope. Some there, look. All down there. Must have been a roaring blaze for quite a while. I don't know, I suppose you can probably look back on Google or whatever and find news reports from 5 to 10 years ago at Dartmouth, fires and stuff. So it does happen, yeah, and it's quite severe when it does. I mean, arguably it's part of a natural process. Lightning could do this sort of thing, but you know, it's just as easily be some idiot with a barbecue. I don't know. I mean, you know, forestry people carry out controlled burns sometimes, but they know what they're doing and they've studied the discipline for a long time. It's coming up here and chucking fag ends into the hedgerow. It's probably not part of the natural order, natural plan. So I'll get a bit of a close-up without falling off the cliff. So I'll get blown back up. It's completely charcoaled, although probably superficially. Don't know if there's any live wood underneath. I mean, this one's got needles, so obviously in the heart of it, there's still root sap going up. Yeah, durable tree. Not all of them survived it, but that one just fell over. It must have burnt through and weakened the base. It's just completely down there. Interesting. Here we go, here's some interesting stuff. So these buildings are the remains of Brownstone Battery. This was kind of my plan for night one, really, is to park up in the wind shadow of one of these. Quite a few block buildings around here. Second World War artillery formation, I think. There's a bunch of round firing whatnots a bit further down. But I didn't get the mileage in to get here on day one. Yeah, this kind of thing. So look inside some of this. Lots of solid concrete buildings to shelter behind. I guess artillery crew's little trench here. I imagine this is Second World War. There's one of the gun emplacements. All the machinery's gone, of course, but the concrete remains. Saw this from Google Maps. Doing my little bit of research I sometimes do for these trips. Yeah, all those metal bolts in the bottom there. Would have held some kind of extremely heavy mounting. Some sort of ordnance capable of hitting a couple of miles out to sea. Far cry from your sort of Tudor era sink ports and whatever, well, little coastal cannon batteries over on the far side by the castle and whatnot. This is a more modern kind of warfare, clearly. Oh, there it is, nothing but the empty ocean. You can see the Start Point Lighthouse right up in the distance. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold the camera steady enough to do. Oh, there goes the wind. Hang on, tracking. Yeah, there it sort of is. I imagine that's making you quite nauseous watching that. Okay, let's stop that then. So that's south. Wind's coming from there, blowing me into the cliff, fortunately. But now we swing around the end of this headland and then start heading north, I guess, and then around the corner again to Brixham at the end of today, or afternoon today. That's one of those voluntary Coast Guard watch places. Little hut. Volunteer Coast Watch with their epaulets and their binoculars, doing a valuable service. Yeah, I wonder if I could have got the tent in there, but I don't think I'd have got the pegs through the concrete. So, but that's the kind of place you'd want to seek shelter in if it's blowing a gale along here. I don't know. Anyway, right, I'm going to try and thread my way back through all this fascinating archaeology. I'll pick up the trail again. Shelter, yeah, just not a good flat grassy pitch. Beggars can't be choosers, that's what I find on these holidays. Here we go, some facts. Right, if I try and hold that steady, zoom in, press pause whenever you want to read some stuff. First World War battleship guns, 6-inch, and could shoot 14 miles. Wow. Miniature railway. Yeah, look, there we go. Tracks. Some sort of store cupboard at the top there. Arsenal, I believe, is the word. Yeah. I don't know if these things ever had to fire shots in anger. Maybe one of those pieces of information tells you. Don't know if if there was ever any engagements this close to this end of Cornwall. Maybe U-boats out there, perhaps. And the path actually goes along here, I'm told. Oh yeah, there it is. So I'm actually getting to explore the whole thing on my little track. Another one of these lower positions here. Yeah. Out of the wind a bit. Let's talk to the phone some. So this is shaping up to be a very hard day. This is say 10 miles from Kingswear to Brixham, but it's pretty much Cornish coast type A all the way along. I know we're in Devon, but even so, it's all this kind of nonsense and a lot of that kind of nonsense as well, which, you know, I generally enjoy, but it's hard going at the time in any given moment. So yeah, I don't know how ambitious I need to be about today's mileage, but just put one foot in front of the other at the moment. There's not even really much in between Kingswear and Brixham either. It's just wilderness, really. Occasional cottage on a hillside, but no towns and shops or anything. I've got supplies, I'm not worried about that. I've got enough water to last me, but it's just there's nothing really to break the monotony. Some more mental refreshment I'm in need of. No, don't get me wrong, this is magnificent scenery, but I have seen quite a lot of it so far in the 400 and something miles I've already done. Yeah, and the sun started beating down a bit, but we've still got the wind, and I don't trust the sky enough to take my anorak off yet, so it is all a bit hot. Just keep at it, really. Horsey! Are they horses or ponies? A lot of grazing around here, a lot of livestock just keeping the landscape free of invasive shrubbery, apparently. They only eat the bad plants and not the good plants or something. Keeps it in this pristine looking sort of denuded state. Yeah. Right, looks like I've got another climb to do. Getting quite stoic about them. One foot in front of the other, ignore the legs, complaining. Yeah. So Sharkhead Point, I think, is about 5 miles away, and that's essentially where the coastline swings round to the west again, and we start the big long bay up to Torquay and so on. Should be a good view from there, should be able to see the whole of the rest of the trip. Stretching away, as it does. There's no other major headlands in between here and there, I don't think. One or two small ones perhaps. But yeah, getting around this bit. Strenuous, I think the Coast Path website describes this day as, and that's not wrong. But yeah, like I say, it should settle down geology-wise into the latter part of the week. But we'll see. Oh, let's do it. Coat off. Shirt sleeves. It's been little puffy clouds for quite a while now. It's going to take a while for those to just suddenly change into rain clouds, and I should have enough warning. So I've gone for non-rain attire. Hopefully it'll carry the old sweat and heat away better. I think it's punishing on some of these uphills, plus the sun's coming out a bit now as well. It's still not, you know, hugely warm, but it's not cold, so, you know, can't complain. So I think, you can sort of see through there. I think that's all today, up to the end of some sort of white thing on the end there, lighthouse maybe. So yeah, quite a lot of work to do today. It's only listed as 10 or 11 miles, but yeah, hard ones. So we'll see. I mean, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me to just do what the itinerary suggests for a change, but we'll see. So getting home, I get to Seaton. If I can get to Seaton before about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon ideally, I can get a bus to Axminster and a train home from there the same day. So that's what I'm sort of aiming at. Doesn't matter what day. Probably Friday, maybe Thursday. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, my lack of training and prep over the winter's not helping me much, I think. I'm a bit out of condition. I mean, the recovery's there because of the couch to 5k running and stuff, but just haven't done enough hiking miles over the winter. Different kind of strength and stamina, I think. But that's okay, I'm alright. There's no signs of imminent collapse or failure, so, you know, I'll just plod on, get on with it. It's good. It's nice up here. But yes, I definitely want to get round the end of that far peninsula before I think about putting a tent down anyway, because this is very windy and exposed all along here, I think. Yeah. Good. What am I looking at there? Birds, I think. Yeah, not otters. Terns, cormorants, who knows. It's gotten rather sheltered here, gone round that one. Suddenly look, trees growing on the side. Completely flat waters down there almost. See the white caps further out where the wind shadow ends. It's nice, I'm going to have to get the hat out in a minute. But yes, just moseying along now. There's another massive climb over there, but I'm like shirt sleeves rolled up and ready to go. I think once I go up on top of that one, it stays up for a while. Certainly along some of that far headland, so that'd be good. That'll be a welcome relief to this roller coaster that today's mostly been. It's not like you can even kick off and coast on the downhill either, they're just as dangerous and jolty. It's just hard on the knees instead of the thighs. Moan, 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 moan. Why do you even come on these holidays, Tim? Good question. Partly I started it and I feel like I really ought to finish it, but I don't know where else I'd go. And indeed, this is perhaps one of the most socially distanced holidays available at present, so doing my part. Oh God, right, knuckle down, get out that one. Yeah, I think once I get up on top of that part, it probably stays up there for a while. I've been tricked before. I'm on an enforced rest break. Yeah, it's got that bad again. Not allowed to leave here for 15 minutes. My feet recover a bit, legs. And they're okay, but you know, I need to make them last. Oh, even like after gasping at the top of a hill, I only sit around for about 3 or 4 minutes at a time. That's a delightful little cottage in the middle of nowhere. This is Man Sands, which is a bit sexist. I don't know, I imagine there's women down there as well, they just don't care. I don't know. So in theory, I've tried to look at the contours and I think definitely after I come up that next nightmare, I'm going to be on the top for quite a long way, hopefully all the way around. Got about, I don't know, 4 miles to go. And that's a good time actually, that last push. Well over halfway to Brixham now. And hopefully it'll settle down a bit altitude wise once we get up that next one. I know it looks terrifying from here, but it's just gasping and stages, you know. It'll be fine. That's the trouble with this camping lark, you don't get the good night's sleep that you normally do. Well, I don't anyway. So it does tend to carry over to the next day a bit. So nice scenery. Rolling Devon Hills, South Hams. Civilization, I think. Don't know what those is. Sign back up there just says 3 miles to Brixham, 7.5 to Kingsway. So the bulk of the day's done. So is that like a holiday camp of some sort? Maybe statics, chalets and whatnot. It's a bit early. I need to get to Brixham. I can do that easily today, and then you find out what lies beyond. I think I've got to go out beyond the end of that white stuff on the end of there, and then come back. I imagine once we're around there, we can see Torquay and everything. So that'll be good. So yeah, up there might be shops, might be a lemonade. Who knows? I haven't had any lemonade this trip. It's starting to show. It's my rocket fuel. Right, I think it's that one. So it's 3:15. Making good time now. It's stopped going up, down, up, down, up, down all the time. And pretty straight and flat along the tops all the way across here. So that's Brixham. It's like a caravan site, holiday park on the back end of Brixham. I need to go around the headland over there and then come back in to get down to the actual dock and stuff. The wharf. There's a space map. You are here. So there's old fortifications on here. And a cafe, which may be open. I don't know. Lighthouse on the end. Not required to go to the lighthouse on the end, not even sure if you can. Path comes around here and goes back off up there basically, and then down to Brixham over there. So not far now, about 2 miles maybe, something like that. Of course I want to push on beyond, but Brixham's a good place to get some hot food. I think I could do with a meal, a proper meal, or at least a cup of coffee. See what that cafe's got for coffee and lemonade. Oh, I can't decide. Just got a coffee and a drink from the windiest cafe in the world. Proper 50 mile an hour on the top of here. I'm hiding around the back of the building. Oh, you can sort of see what lies ahead. That's Babbacombe maybe? Not sure. I'll have a proper look later. Interesting though. There's a whole load of cruise liners out there just idling about. Look at those more later as well. I'm going to have my coffee first, and then I've got to get down and off the top of here before I get blown to death, and then down to Brixham. Oh god, that's better. bit of wind shadow makes all the difference. I was mad up there. That must have been the full 50 mile an hour. Because that Berry Head with the lighthouse and radio tower on the end. I didn't go and look at the lighthouse. I've seen loads of lighthouses on this trip. But yeah, the cafe is open. But of course COVID means no indoor seating. So we had to sit outside, and all their seating was on the southern side of the building, which was right in the teeth of it. I mean, I went in there to order, and I saw they had cream tea. I thought, oh, that could go with a scone and some clotted cream and some jam and a tea and stuff. And then, you know, I started to order, and she looked at it, and I looked at it, and we both looked outside where the picnic tables were being picked up and hurled across the, hurled into the distance. And I thought, perhaps just a millionaire shortbread and a brown paper bag would be less complex. So we both agreed on that in the end. But yeah, it's revitalised. I had a coffee now. It's my first one of this trip, I think. And a can of Sprite, which, you know, is a good second if you can't find actual lemonade. So I'm good to go now. So it's about 1.5 miles down that way, down to Brixham, but you can see this sweeping view. Let me zoom in and do a kind of pan type thing. So that curls round to Paynton, and then this is, I guess, what they call the English Riviera. In the far back corner, I think, is Torquay, the jewel of the, well, Tall Bay, I suppose. I guess that makes this the Tall Bay. I think that might be Babbacombe over there on the white on the far side. If not, then Babbacombe is back and behind the top of that hill there on the other side of what amounts to another little sticky outy headland there. And that's my goal for tomorrow. Itinerary says to get to Babbacombe, but I'm going to start doing my thing again when I start to compress days, so I'm going to try and overachieve on that day. Tomorrow is 10 miles, and the coast path guide says 10 miles of easy. a little green diamond instead of what we just done today, which was challenging stroke strenuous red diamond. 10 miles of that. So I think I could probably do more than 10 miles of easy if it is all just, you know, seafront basically. So I'm going to try and get 6 miles or so beyond Babbacombe, which means the next day, which would have been Babbacombe to Exmouth, will put me at Exmouth, at the Ex, crossing the Ex, about half a day ahead. In other words, I'll be trying to catch a ferry around midday instead of at the end of the day. And that suits me fine, because that ferry finishes at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I don't really want to have to camp on this side of it. So that's the plan. And then I can try and pick up another half day somewhere between the Exmouth to Sidmouth and Sidmouth to Seaton. It's 2 days there. If I can squeeze half a day out of those 2 days, then that'll be me a day early. But I want to get to Seaton, I don't know, before, I don't mind which day really, but I need to get there really before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That way I can then just get home straight the same day. Get a bus to Axminster and a train from there back home. That'll be the idea. Anyway, we'll see how it all goes. But I'm looking forward to so Brixham, which you can just see the end of the Brixham breakwater there. So that's just down this hill basically. Brixham to Babbacombe, which is just over the other side of that headland, is 1 day and 10 miles apparently of easy going. And then Babbacombe to the River Exe itself is 16 miles apparently of easy going as well. So a slightly longer day, but apparently easy going means, yeah, easy going. All like seafront promenading, a lot of it I think. There's some hills around Dawlish I know, but nothing major compared to today. So 2 days, 26 miles of easy going I ought to be able to do in a day and a half rather than 2 days. That'll help me push on and grab some time. That's good. So for that to all work, I need to find somewhere the other side of Brixham, but before I hit Paignton, to drop the bag. I've seen a couple of golf courses the path runs not across, but next to. So there might be some sort of interstitial greenery I might be able to plonk down as it gets dusky along there. But I suspect there's probably a lot of people along these paths because this is prime holiday country now. A lot of holiday parks, a lot of tourism, the English Riviera. So look at these boats. Yes, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Look at these. We'll be seeing a lot of these as we go around the bay, I expect, and probably more as we go around Dartmouth and the other side of that as well. See them all from the train when I came down in September, when I was heading to Par. And yeah, the main train line runs right along the seafront. We will see that around Dawlish and around Exmouth. It's the main train line into Cornwall and South Devon. Comes right, it's literally 2 metres from the sea, from the water. What am I even pointing at here? Hang on, let's just zoom back out again. Lose all context. So yeah, we'll see that. But yeah, I saw it last September. There was just loads of these giant cruise liners all just parked up here. I think they're sort of idling a bit because they have to. I don't even know if they have anchors in the conventional sense of boating. I think they may just have to constantly keep the engine on low power idling and just keep stabilisers running or something, just keep going in small circles or whatever, because they do move as I've been watching them. They've been moving position. But yeah, they're all here because no one's allowed to do cruises anymore. And rather than, mothball the boats, sink them and make an artificial reef somewhere, they've just decided to park up here because they've got I don't think they've actually got any proper docks anywhere. Yeah, obviously there's the place you get on and off them when you take a cruise, but that's a very limited time slot and probably costs them an enormous amount of money to use on a per hour basis. So the rest of the time they have to go somewhere else, but ideally the rest of the time they're constantly cruising, constantly earning money. But of course now with COVID, cruising's a bit of a no-no, so these have all been here. There was a whole load off of Weymouth as well, I remember seeing last year as well. They're probably all still there as well. We might see those in September. But yeah, remarkable. Try and get some zoom close-ups as we go around the bay, so we can work out whose boats they are. But you can see that they are all huge multi-deck jobs. I don't know what my 10 times zoom will show you. Go on. No. Go on, give it a go. There you go. I mean, what's that? 1, 2, 3. I assume each of those black stripes is a floor of cabins. Yeah, you do the math, as they say. It's a huge old boat, and volume control is turning off recording. But yeah, as I was saying, it's a huge old boat. And presumably not all bought and paid for yet either. So yeah, interesting. Right, I'm going to head on, get down into Brixham. I probably don't need a massive big dinner now. I was toying with the idea of fish and chips or something, but I'm just not really that hungry. It's just more thirst than anything else on these trips nowadays. Do need to fill the water bottles up there, so I'll have to look out for a public convenience or drinking water fountain or something, or just be cheeky with a cafe. And we'll need to fill the bottles up before I go and camp somewhere. Right, onward. And suddenly a completely different landscape. A white-fronted beach accommodation. Beach huts over there I just saw. Restaurants, marinas, pastel cottages and houses cluttered up on the hillsides. And they all sort of blend into each other as well. I'm not going to find anywhere to kit pretty much from Paignton through to Torquay, I wouldn't have thought. I don't even know what that white thing is there. Guess we'll see when we go near it. Feels like we've left the rugged South Devon landscape, which itself was an extension of the rugged South Cornish landscape. This is something else now. English Riviera. Pretty sure it's like this all the way up to the Exe, more or less. And the other side of the Exe we're starting on the Jurassic coast, which is something else again. So yeah, a little transitional boundary, that headland. Now we're here. Seaside town. And seaside town, and seaside town, and seaside town. Which is good in a way, because they rarely build seaside towns with too many cliffs on them. Ups and downs, although, you know, there's a few. Don't imagine I'm done with hills just yet. But I suspect the going will be a bit easier going forward for the next day or two. Well, the guidebook even says so. So that's welcome. Yeah. Well, I should have no trouble locating an ice cream or some lemonade then from this day forward. Good, good, good. Let's carry on into Brixham itself, see what we can see. Oh, that mournful cry of the wind through the mast rigging. There's something you don't see every day. 16th century clipper in dazzle camouflage. Classy. Have a proper look at that as we go past. So this is Brixham Harbour. Lots of little boutiques and restaurants and things. Not really that hungry. But if I see something particularly tasty looking, I might jump on it. Definitely don't want a big sit down anything. I need to fill the water bottles though before I get out of here. I think I need to go over by that big rockfish. Is that a clothes shop or a restaurant? Don't know. I'll have to ask. But I've got 4 hours of daylight left here. And my projected camping zone's about a mile further on from here, so I'd have to be going supremely slowly for it to take that long. I've got a lot of time to kill. I don't want to I can't push too much further onwards because I'll find myself in Paignton. And then on to the big Torquay Paignton strip, and there's not going to be much wild camping to be had along there, I shouldn't imagine. That's well into tomorrow's day. So yeah, I'm kind of just loafing really, taking it, just dragging my heels, keeping it slow. See what we find. Yeah, I don't know either. I think it might be a thank you NHS thing. So this is Charleston Cove, I think. There's a view of Brixham breakwater there. So it's about 6:30, maybe getting on for 7. So I'm a bit of a victim of my own success in a way. I did too well today. I basically ended up turning up at Brixham with 4 hours to spare before dark. So yes, I went and killed some time by availing myself of a non-residents welcome holiday park bar. A couple of pints of Guinness and a cooked meal. It's good, burger and chips. Just as a way of, just as a pretext to get my water bottles filled really, but I was forced to relax for at least an hour and a half. which was nice in its way, but of course COVID means everyone's in beer gardens at the moment, not inside actual pubs. So an hour and a half waiting around inside waiting around outside in a patio in this wind seems to have cooled me down rather. So trying to keep pacing to keep warm, despite the burger and chips. 2 Guinness didn't help either. So I think that's an onward path up there. I'm investigating the potential of this. I think I want to say dried up riverbed. I mean, I'm not too worried about. I mean, this looks like a potentially good spot. Bearing in mind that there's like I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. The remains of 4 massive bonfires on this little bit of beach. So I can't imagine it's patrolled or policed regularly. That one, that's huge. I might go a bit further back, I suppose, but oh yeah, another one there. I mean, I'm just hoping no one sets a massive bonfire going while I'm trying to set up, but I think it might be the place to check. Another one there, yeah. So if people can get away with that, I doubt I'll cause any trouble. Yeah, so yeah, this might do. Dog walkers and stuff, but you know, after a certain time and before a certain time, that's not such a problem. People are still walking about. There's a couple of holiday camps right nearby, so evening constitutionals and stuff. I'll just have to sit around a bit, kill some more time. And I've still got an hour and a half till it gets proper dark, so it's only 6:30 now. But yeah, I think this area has potential, because the problem is I could just keep going. Obviously, another 4 hours or so, another 6 to 8 miles that way. That puts me right in the slap bang between Paynton and Torquay, and it all just looks like hotel promenades and stuff. It's really terrible for trying to find somewhere to pitch. But that's okay. So the plan for tomorrow is to really take the brakes off. If I fetch up in, because I mean tomorrow's Brixham to Babbacombe, but really I want to keep going beyond there. And if I fetch up in Babbacombe at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon with 6 hours, 5 hours of daylight to spare, I'm just going to go for it. Take the brakes off, keep going, get as far as I can. Probably want to try and make it to the Dartmouth, Sheldon, that sort of area, that ferry there, which would then allow me to do the day after, put in a good old yomp and get to the Exeter ferry, the X-ferry, by well before it finishes for the day. That's the idea anyway. So yeah, we'll see. But I think somewhere around here might do. Either up there or just over here, I don't know, don't mind. There's quite a few footpaths running through the place, but seems like a pretty slapdash attitude to stopping people setting fire to the place. So I mean, my own minor intrusion will be nothing to worry about. And then yeah, up at 6, away for 7, crack on. That's the idea anyway. I just need to stay warm for the rest of the evening now until I can get the tent actually up without anyone noticing. It's been a good day though. I mean, hard day. Very challenging day, as the guide says. It was a lot of up and down, sort of thing that I'd normally associate with the North Coast. But that's all done and out of the way now, and I don't believe anything left on this trip is quite as hard work. Oh yeah, there's going to be some more hills here and there, I'm sure, but I think the worst of it's over now, which is good. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a pleasant interlude. I think this might be the spot. So a couple of hours till the sun goes down. I'm not sure how I'm going to occupy myself, just pacing around I suppose. Could just set up anyway and to hell with it. That's sort of inviting trouble really. I'll go for a bit of a wander in these woods, see what's around. What's that? Is that a... Oh no, just a big block of charcoal burned wood. Thought it was a black plastic bag full of dog shit. See a lot of that about on the trail. Hanging from trees for some reason. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. Anyway, so there we go. It's a big old day, hectic day, but got a lot accomplished. I think I'm still in reasonable shape to carry on for the rest of it. Heels are starting to feel a bit sore. The base underside of my heel. Not getting blisters at all. I think my feet are just tough enough not to get blistered anymore, you know. But yeah, shock absorbers are doing their bit, but I think it's just the weight of the bag. Still, it is what it is. Yeah, ready to crack on for tomorrow. Cool. Right, well, that's me done for the day, I think. Just going to sit here all night, totally not camping. And then make a nice start early up those stairs in the morning for painting and Torquay and lots of seafront stuff. Anyway, so that'll do me for the day. I shall see you later.